The Amish have a knack for keeping things beautifully uncomplicated, even when it comes to beekeeping. They don't rely on shiny gadgets or the latest high-tech equipment. Instead, they work with the bees, not against them. Their method is slow and deliberate, valuing patience over speed. Every move they make aligns with nature's rhythm, fostering an environment where the bees thrive, untouched by chemicals or unnecessary human interference. The result? Honey that's pure, unfiltered, and just as nature intended, a golden elixir that feels like liquid sunshine. It's the kind of approach that makes you pause and question. With all our modern solutions, have we overcomplicated the simple joys of life? Perhaps the Amish have uncovered a sweeter truth. Success doesn't have to be rushed. It just needs a touch of care and trust. Even their hives are a testament to this simplicity. Forget store-bought beekeeping kits that scream mass production. The Amish handcraft their hives using wood harvested from their own farms. There's a unique satisfaction in knowing that every piece of the process, down to the hive itself, comes from their own hands and land. And it seems the bees agree. These tiny architects move in like they've been handed the keys to a 5-star hotel, buzzing with purpose as they build intricate honeycombs. No permits required. Did you know a swarm can construct a new hive in mere days when the conditions are right? It's like watching a team of skilled workers who don't need blueprints or coffee breaks. Their precision and speed put human contractors to shame. In no time, their handmade hives transform into bustling little metropolises, with honeycombs sprouting up like mini skyscrapers. Meanwhile, many of us are still fumbling with flat-pack furniture and spare screws. What's even more enchanting is how seamlessly these wooden hives blend into the natural landscape. No bright plastics or artificial frames here, just rustic wood structures that feel like an organic part of the environment. The bees prefer it this way. Synthetic materials can mess with their finely tuned senses. But wood? It's like moving into a cozy cabin instead of a cramped, sterile apartment. And who wouldn't choose the log cabin? Positioning the hives is another art form. The Amish choose spots near flourishing fields or vibrant gardens, giving the bees easy access to nectar. Then they step back. No micromanaging, no interference, just a quiet respect for the bees' natural instincts. If the bees decide to wander, so be it. These little workers are fiercely independent, and unsolicited advice isn't their thing. This hands-off approach has its perks. By letting nature take its course, the bees stay calm and stress-free, which means they're more productive. It's the beekeeping equivalent of working from home in comfy pajamas instead of braving rush-hour traffic in a stiff suit. The Amish get honey that bursts with flavor, and the bees get to do what they do best. Win-win. When it's time to inspect the hive, you might expect hazmat suits and a lot of smoke. But the Amish keep it simple. A long-sleeve shirt, a modest veil, and a whole lot of trust. That's all they need. Amish beekeeping is as much about intuition as it is about skill. Sure, avoiding stings is nice, but their real focus is keeping the bees calm and undisturbed. When bees are stressed, it's not just one or two that feel it, the whole hive picks up on the tension. Ever worked alongside a stressed-out coworker? It's the same vibe, except these coworkers come equipped with stingers. The Amish secret lies in timing and observation. They don't need fancy tech to figure out what's happening inside the hive. Early mornings or late afternoons, when the bees are naturally more relaxed, are their preferred times for inspection. They rely on their senses, the hum of buzzing wings, the subtle changes in scent emanating from the hive. It's like mastering a second language, where the vocabulary consists of movements, sounds, and smells. Once, I tried timing it like the Amish. Thought I had it all figured out until I showed up in a bulky coat, fumbling through the hive. Let's just say bees aren't fond of clumsy moves or heavy-handed humans. That's when you realize Experience, not gadgets, is the best teacher. Their toolkit is as simple as it gets: a handful of dried grass or pine needles to create a gentle puff of smoke. No fancy smokers with adjustable valves or futuristic designs. Just a few calming puffs to let the bees know it's time to relax. The smoke works like a magical pause button, slowing the hive's reactions and making it easier to inspect. Honestly, wouldn't it be great if this worked on people too? Imagine gently puffing smoke at someone stuck in traffic and watching them transform into a Zen master. But here's the thing. Beekeeping Amish style is never rushed. Each frame is examined with the utmost care, searching for signs of healthy brood, ensuring the queen is thriving, and checking honey reserves. It's a delicate balance. Step in too much and you disrupt the bee's rhythm. Step back too far and you miss critical signs. This patience and balance don't just apply to bees. They're life lessons disguised as beekeeping. There's something almost meditative about it all. Standing among the hives, the soft hum of bees filling the air, the faint scent of wax and wildflowers, it feels like stepping into another world. No screens, no notifications, just you, the bees, and a whisper of smoke. And when the work is done, there's a quiet pride in knowing you've helped, but without disrupting nature's flow. Harvesting honey is no exception to this slow, mindful approach. The Amish steer clear of high-speed electric extractors, opting instead for the steady hands of time and gravity. They cut honey-filled combs from the hive and let the honey drip, drop by golden drop, through a sieve. It's like watching syrup crawl out of a bottle on a frosty morning, slow, deliberate, and deeply satisfying. It's a masterclass in waiting, a celebration of simplicity, and a reminder that sometimes the best solutions aren't found in haste or technology, but in patience, observation, and respect for the natural order. Patience is the Amish beekeeper's greatest tool, and honey making is where that patience truly shines. Letting nature take its sweet, unhurried time is almost a philosophy for them. In a world that expects instant results, it's almost unfathomable. Imagine telling someone today they'd have to wait a few days for honey to drip from a comb. Chances are, they'd be sketching out a drone-powered extraction system before their coffee break. But here's the twist. The Amish don't harvest honey every few weeks like modern beekeepers do with their high-speed extractors. Nope, they wait an entire season. Once. That's it. This isn't just about honey production. It's about honoring the bees, ensuring they have enough reserves to weather the lean months ahead. It's as if they're saying, take your time, we'll wait. Nobody rushes. Not the beekeeper, not the bees, and definitely not the honey. I once attempted to mimic their patience, watching honey lazily drip from a piece of comb. I lasted about 30 minutes before my mind wandered and my phone came out. Let's just say the Amish have a Zen-like calm that I'm still light years away from achieving. But the payoff? Oh, it's worth it. This slow-dripped honey isn't just food. It's an experience. The flavor has depth, a rich, layered sweetness that feels like it holds the essence of wildflowers and sunshine. It's the honey equivalent of a slow-cooked stew, where every minute of waiting makes it better. Compare that to the processed honey sitting on supermarket shelves. There's no contest. And here's a fascinating tidbit. Honey, in its raw form, practically lasts forever. Archaeologists have found jars of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that are still edible. Talk about timeless. The Amish know this well, storing their golden treasure for long winters. Honey isn't just a treat for them. It's also medicine, a natural remedy for coughs, colds, and a host of other ailments. Who needs store-bought medicine when you've got jars of liquid gold? Now, if you're picturing Amish beekeepers in bulky white suits like you see on TV, think again. Their style is as understated as their methods. Long sleeves, simple trousers, and maybe a veil on a particularly feisty bee day. Many even skip the veil altogether, trusting their instincts and their bond with the hive. It's like they've got an unspoken agreement with the bees. I'll respect your space if you respect mine. Of course, every now and then, a bee breaks the deal. Getting stung is a humbling reminder that trust has its limits, even in the insect world. Experienced Amish beekeepers, though, rarely face this issue. They've mastered the art of moving gracefully around the hive, minimizing any perceived threats. Compare that to a rookie like me who got stung within 5 minutes of trying. Let me tell you, nothing makes you rethink your approach faster than sprinting away from a determined bee while swatting at the air. The Amish approach their bees with respect, patience, and a touch of quiet wisdom. And while bees might not express gratitude the way we do, it's clear that their harmonious partnership thrives. After all, the proof is in the honey. Beekeeping for the Amish is as much about reading the bees as it is about managing them. It's all about moving slowly, staying calm, and resisting the urge to flinch when a bee buzzes a little too close. For most of us, that's a challenge. Imagine a bee landing on your nose. But the Amish? They act like it's just a polite visitor. The secret? They treat it as a life lesson. Stay calm in the chaos, and everything works out. They don't rely on heavy-duty protective suits, either. In their eyes, all that gear just gets in the way of connecting with the hive. Their best defense isn't a thick layer of fabric, but a steady hand and a calm presence. And honestly, they might be onto something. It's refreshing to see people work with nature, not against it, without treating the whole process like a hazmat operation. Watching them for the first time is humbling. There they are, barefaced and cool as cucumbers, while most of us would probably be halfway across the field by now. This simplicity is more than just bravery, though. It's wisdom. Without barriers, they've learned to read their hives like a second language, knowing when to approach, when to back off, and when a little puff of smoke is needed. It's a kind of mindfulness, really. No distractions, no rush, just the beekeeper, the bees, and the moment. In a world where waiting 5 seconds for a video to load feels unbearable, there's something grounding about being so fully present. The Amish aren't fans of shortcuts, whether it's in farming, home building, or beekeeping. That means no chemical pesticides, no synthetic treatments, and definitely no lab-made quick fixes. Instead, they rely on natural solutions to tackle natural problems, a no-nonsense approach that makes you wonder if modern methods are the real shortcuts. When pests or diseases threaten their hives, the Amish don't reach for chemicals. Instead, they turn to herbs, essential oils, and hands-on hive management. Mites, for example, can't stand oils like thyme or tea tree. Lavender, known for calming humans, works just as well to relax anxious bees. Who knew the secret to happy hives was the same stuff you'd sprinkle on your pillow for better sleep? But it doesn't stop at oils. The Amish rotate combs to prevent disease buildup and keep a vigilant eye on the hive's health. If something goes wrong, they address it quickly and naturally, no spraying chemicals and crossing their fingers. This approach demands patience, but bees thrive under attentive care, and patience is something the Amish have in abundance. I remember trying to grow a little herb garden once, thinking I'd embrace the natural lifestyle. Spoiler, the bugs saw it as an all-you-can-eat buffet. My organic methods didn't last long, but watching the Amish care for their bees, it's proof that when done right, working with nature really can succeed. The Amish use the same herbs and oils to protect their hives as they do in their natural remedies, and it works remarkably well. Honestly, it makes my failed herb garden feel like amateur hour. But here's the kicker. Their approach isn't just about tradition, it's rooted in science. Studies show that bees raised with fewer chemical interventions live healthier and longer lives. Pesticides weaken their immune systems, leaving them vulnerable to diseases. So, while it might seem old-fashioned, The Amish are actually ahead of the game. They're giving their bees a fighting chance by working with nature instead of against it. And the benefits don't stop with the bees. Natural methods mean pure, untainted honey. Some might label it organic, but for the Amish, it's just how things have always been done. If you've ever had honey straight from an Amish hive, you'll understand. It's rich, complex, and bursting with flavor in a way that store-bought honey simply can't match. After tasting it, you might never look at those plastic honey bears the same way again. This natural approach to beekeeping is part of a larger philosophy. Healthy bees mean more pollination, which leads to healthier crops, a self-sustaining cycle where every piece works together just as nature intended. When the bees thrive, the entire farm flourishes. No need for modern chemicals when you've got a bit of herbal know-how and faith in the land. When the Amish harvest honey, it's not just for their own kitchens. Honey plays a central role in their community life. Instead of chasing profits like modern businesses, they share it freely and generously with neighbors, friends, and family. It's often part of their bartering system. Need a bushel of apples? Trade a jar of honey. Need help raising a barn? Maybe a few jars will sweeten the deal. Honey isn't just a sweetener, it's a symbol of connection. It's deeply personal, coming straight from the bees just a few fields away. And unlike mass-produced jars, local honey has unique benefits. Studies suggest it can even help with allergies by building immunity to local pollen. The Amish have known this for ages. Honey is medicine, currency, and a heartfelt gift all in one. I once tried bartering with a jar of store-bought honey for some farm eggs. Let's just say the look I got made it clear that a mass-produced jar wasn't cutting it. Local honey, though? That's always welcome. It's not just the taste. It's the story, the connection, and the care that make it special. For the Amish, honey isn't hoarded or sold off in bulk for profit. It's shared, spreading goodwill throughout the community. Sure, some of it might make its way to markets, but even that reflects their values. There's enough for the family, enough for the neighbors, and a little extra to support the larger community. It reminds me of the time I tried giving away extra zucchini from my garden. At first, it seemed like a great idea, until I realized everyone else was trying to offload their zucchini too. Honey, though, that's a gift no one ever turns down. The Amish understand the power of a simple jar of honey. It's not just food, it's a bridge, a way to connect with neighbors and strengthen bonds. Sharing a little honey on warm bread might seem small, but it often leads to something bigger, a friendship that grows sweeter over time. For the Amish, honey isn't just a product, it's a gift from the bees, and they treat it with the respect it deserves. They never overharvest, always leaving enough for the bees to thrive. It's a symbiotic relationship. The bees provide, and the Amish ensure the hive stays healthy and productive. Winter is no easy test for people or for bees. While modern beekeepers might use electric heating pads to keep hives warm, the Amish rely on simple, natural methods. Wool blankets and bales of hay become cozy insulation for the hives, trapping warmth and shielding against the biting wind. Think of it like tucking the bees into bed under a heavy quilt, but these little ones don't complain about extra layers. Stacking hay bales around hives might sound straightforward, but it's anything but. Hay serves as both a windbreaker and a heat retainer, but arranging it requires patience and a gentle touch. Trust me, bees don't take kindly to sudden noises or clumsy hands. I once tried stacking hay quietly. Picture me tiptoeing like a ninja, but the curious bees still buzzed out to see what the fuss was about. Let's just say I didn't win any points for stealth. Bees, however, have their own ingenious way of surviving the cold. It's called clustering, a bee huddle where they vibrate their wings to generate heat. The queen stays at the center, protected like a precious jewel, while worker bees rotate in and out of the warmest spots. It's a survival system perfected by nature, and it's why Amish beekeepers trust their bees to handle even the harshest winters. As one Amish farmer once told me, the bees know how to look after themselves better than we do. Fun fact, a healthy bee cluster can maintain a core temperature of 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 to 35 degrees Celsius, even when it's freezing outside. That's warmer than my apartment on some winter nights. All that buzzing and wing flapping burns energy, though, so the Amish make sure their bees have plenty of honey stored up. It's like filling the pantry before a snowstorm. Without enough honey, the bees won't survive the season. I asked an Amish beekeeper once if he worried about his bees during winter. His response? A calm shrug. Worry doesn't change the weather, he said. Preparedness does. That sums up their entire philosophy, whether it's beekeeping, farming, or life. Interestingly, research backs up their approach. Colonies that rely on natural methods like clustering and proper insulation often fare better in winter than those kept warm with artificial means. Sometimes, when people step back and let bees do their thing, nature rewards them.